to story time with Lord Poppertins.
Hey, you already said that last time.
Tonight we read.
Hey, you forgot these.
I forgot nothing.
Hey,
I forgot nothing. Big Smelly Bear by Britta Teckentrup.
sneak them in.
What Pet Should I Get by Dr. Suess. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. And these books, which we will not be reading. Which first? What pet should I get? Shall we? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Say hi.
Hi. Welcome back again, kids. Welcome back to and grown-ups and cousins.
Very good.
And aunts and uncles.
Okay.
Yeah, pins.
Are you ready?
Uncle pins. Hey, Grandpa's pins. Uncle pins. Papa's pins.
We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get?
This is just like...
Dad said we could have one. Dad said he would pay. I went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay, and so we went in. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands, so we shook. So I said I want him. But then Kay saw a cat. She gave it a pat, and she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one. We cannot take home two. Psh. Then what do you know? We saw two other kids. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? Oh, excuse me. Then what do you know? We saw two other kinds. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? A pup and a kitten. They looked like good fun. Now which would we pick? We could only pick one. I would definitely pick the dog, not the cat. What about you?
I would pick the dog. Well, you wouldn't pick the cat because you're allergic to cats.
I am allergic to cats, that's true. They make me itchy.
And he scratch you.
The cat or the dog? The kitten? The pup? Oh boy, it is something to make up. Oh boy, it is something to make a mind up. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We can pick one that sings. But then, look over there, said my sister Kay. We can go home with a rabbit today. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets that I see, and so do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know, Mother told us to be back by noon. Do you know what time noon is?
It's at night.
No.
Oh, it's in the morning.
It's kind of like when you have lunch at school. It's 12 o'clock. So a little after you have lunch in kindergarten. What grade are you in?
Nothing.
Can I pick your nose in front of all these people too?
No. And mine are that. You just I didn't
Gotta pick a booger. I get it, man. And I could have done it. I could have, I bet. I could have said what pet we should get. But do you know what Kay did? Do you know what she did? She said, fish, 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 fish. It may be a fish is the pet that we wish. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How could I pick one? Now what would we do? Now what should we do? We could only pick one. This is what my dad said. But how could I make up that mind in my head? Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I might find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing, who would fly round my head in a ring on a string. Yes, that would be fun, but our house is so small. This thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. Your mother's a very smart lady. So maybe some other good kind of pet, another kind maybe, is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall. A tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all.
A space? Here's a space. That's small.
If we had a big tent, then we would be able to take a... Oh, blah. If we had a big tent, then we would be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent, but how do I know he would pay for a tent? Yes, love.
His tail is very long.
His tail is super long. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Look how long his tail is. Oh my god, you've lost your, what is that, unicorn.
It went like this, but then... Let me show you that again.
So you see how it is when you pick out a pet. How can you make up your mind what to get? But, hey, remember that we're reading stories right now, okay? But if we took one of each kind of pet, then our house would be full of the pets we should get. No, Dad would be mad. We can only have one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up the mind that is in my head. If you put that on my shoulder again, I'm going to kiss you.
I want you to.
The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat, I picked one out fast, and then that was that.
Give me
I've got a bloody story to read. Stop distracting me.
Move.
Okay, sit up. Come on.
Daddy.
Don't be grumpy. Haley, please sit up and come sit over here.
Wait.
Because we're going to finish our stories. Come on. Quick, quick, quick.
Stories. I'm flying. Dig.
All right, we had a little distraction. Let's read that last page one more time. I will do it right now. I will do it. I said I will make up the mind that is up in my head. The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat. I picked one out fast, and then that was that.
Oh, it's
Oh my gosh, that's the end of the book, and they didn't even tell you what pet he got.
Wait.
That's bloody crazy.
Wait.
That's all like a extra part of the story.
You're drawing. You're drawing something. Yo, look at that.
Did you come to give
Yo,
kisses?
look at that. Guys, look at this. No, look at this.
Yeah. Oh, that's a... Wow. Okay, here we go. Where the wild things are. Kisses, kisses. Daddy loves kisses. All right, sit up. Where the wild things are. Kind of a scary book. Let's be very quiet for this one, okay? The night Max wore his wolf suit. Do voices?
Yeah.
The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything.
I farted.
He did what, Miss Cup?
I said I farted.
That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. Hey, I can't read when you're doing that. Will you please stop?
Yeah.
Thank you. And grew. I love you so much.
I love you more than anything. I love you.
Anything, even candy? And rainbows and unicorns?
Yeah.
That's a lot of love. Don't drink all my water. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. Oh my goodness, you okay?
No.
Oh no. You alright?
I'm so sad.
Did you get yourself a little owie on the corner of a book?
A book.
I heard tickles are the best thing for owies. Okay. Sit. Come on. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still!" and tamed them with the magic trick. of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. Are you scared of this book? A little bit, that's all right. This book is a book that helps you have a big imagination.
Like, these are such big monsters.
Why don't you just watch and see what happens? And made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. I forgot to be reading in a British accent. Oh yeah, we should, that's a cool picture. See, they're all kind of dancing and having fun now.
Yeah, they're not scary anymore. Like, they're not scary anymore.
Which is your favorite one on this page? Hey, Karis. Which monster do you like the best? Which one do you like?
I think this one looks cool.
That's my favorite too.
I think,
Nope, we're not going back.
Just look
Pick
here.
from this page. Quick.
I was going to pick that one.
Okay, moving on. Oh my gosh, they're still dancing and having a fun time.
Dad,
What?
I picked the one that put his hand on his belly.
Which one?
I don't know. It's
That one. So that one is the same as that one, maybe? Oh. Alright, moving on. This book is a lot shorter than I realized. Now stop! Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. And so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth. Yeah. And rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year, and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. Well, I haven't read that book in a long time, and I totally thought it was different.
It's gonna be.
Big Smelly Bear!
No!
This is a book about Lord
No,
Poppertins.
this is fun.
You don't know this one.
This is fun. Just kidding. Don't do the voice.
Don't do voices?
No. Do it.
Big Smelly Bear never washed.
No.
It's not British.
I like it.
They like it. She likes it. I like it. The rabbit likes it. Do you like it? Rabbit likes it too.
I don't. I like it.
Big Smelly Bear never washed. Big Smelly Bear never brushed. Big Smelly Bear never took a bath. Big Smelly Bear was followed by a big smelly stink wherever he went. Flies buzzed all around him, but they were the only ones that ever came close. When the animals in the forest got a whiff of Big Smelly Bear, they ran away as quickly as they could. None of this seemed to bother Big Smelly Bear, but sometimes he did think that it would be nice to have a friend. Then one morning, everything changed. Big Smelly Bear woke up with the most terrible itch. He tried to scratch his back with his paw, but he couldn't reach. He tried rolling on the ground in the dirt, but that didn't stop the itching neither. Big Smelly Bear was itchier and dustier than ever. He tried scratching his back with a tree branch, but that made the itch even itchier. He tried rubbing his back against the trunk of an old tree, but that didn't help at all. "I would scratch your back for you," said a voice from above. but she were much too smelly. Big Smelly Bear looked up and saw Big Fluffy Bear sitting in some branches. Big Fluffy Bear smiled at Big Smelly Bear.
I'm doing funny voices.
Why do you think I'm doing a funny voices?
No.
Okay. Why don't you take a bath? Asked Big Fluffy Bear. Then you wouldn't itch or smell. Because I don't need a bath, replied Big Smelly Bear.
Yes,
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do, said Big Fluffy Bear. No, I don't, said Big Smelly Bear. Yes, you do, growled Big Fluffy Bear. No, I don't, growled Big Smelly Bear back. Yes, you do, cried Big Fluffy Bear. No, I don't, shouted Big Smelly Bear. I'm mixing accents again. Yes, you do, shouted Big Fluffy Bear, because you stink. Both Big Bears sat quietly for a minute, then Big Smelly Bear sighed a big sigh. Oh, all right, he said, and he stomped off grumpily down the hill to the pond. When Big Smelly Bear got out of the pond, he shook the water from his big body. Big Fluffy Bear jumped down from the tree and sniffed. There, she said, that's much better. Now you smell all clean, and she scratched his back for him. The itch was gone. Big Smelly Bear sighed. Thank you, he said. And then he gave Big Fluffy Bear's back a little scratch too. I'm not going to take any more baths, said Big Smelly Bear. Big Fluffy Bear smiled, and the two big bears had a little bear hug.
Aww.
Big Smelly Bear liked Big Fluffy Bear very much. And even though he said he would never bathe again, sometimes late at night he would wander down to the big pond.
Daddy.
And can you guess what he was doing? Can you guess what he was doing when he wandered down to the big pond?
He was playing in it.
Playing it? It looks like he's taking a bath.
Dad. No,
What?
he was washing his stuff. Dad.
That's called taking a bath.
Dad.
What?
Is this the same book we read last night?
I think Eden read this to you. We didn't read last night. You fell asleep early. And I was too tired. And that's the end of the books.
I have one color.
Alright, we got time for one more. Which one? Barbie Book of Kittens? Please God, no. How about this one?
No, the crayon book.
No.
This book is too small.
Giraffes Can't Dance. Come here, love bud.
I thought it was...
By Giles, Andre, and Guy Parker Rees.
I thought it was just Gerald can't dance. Because he was dancing in the picture.
Oh, okay. But the title of the book is Giraffes Can't Dance. Are you sleepy?
No.
Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish rail.
Ew, they're dancing.
Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor. But the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird.
You're weird, whoever said he's weird.
Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Would you like to come say hi to the camera, Aaron? Come on inside and say hello. Aaron! That was Aaron.
I want to sit on your lap.
Okay, let's make room.
No.
We'll split. All right, come on.
Someone to say hi.
Then he found a little clearing, and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed the cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Would you stop it? I'm trying to read the book here. Please stop. Haley, please stop. Thank you.
Why are the words curved?
I don't know. But you guys need to stop wiggling because I can't read the book because you're shaking me. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees to meet the sweetest music in those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt the body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Nope, that's not right. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Could you sit here, please?
And then he made this.
Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing, yes I'm dancing, I am dancing, Gerald cried.
That looks creepy.
A little creepy, yeah.
His face is so cool.
Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced.
Which one is
Shh. They shouted, it's a miracle. We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply swirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We can all dance, he said, when we find the music that we love. Oh, that's a good line.
Yep.
Let's read that last part really quick. How did you learn to... Excuse me. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply swirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We can all dance, he said, when we find music that we love. What kind of music do you like to dance to? What kind of... We're done, it's okay. What kind of music do you like, Haley?
I like...
Do you like this music? Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots. Do you like that?
I like... your favorite song.
Oh, I have lots of favorite songs. Which one?
The Rockstar one.
Rockstar one?
Yeah.
Don't want to live as an untold story.
Yeah,
I'd rather go out in a blaze of glory. I like that one too.
I like the song where you sing, and I can't control. Don't step on a hot girl, you wake your mama's back.
That's actually a song that you made up, not me. All right, that's story time for tonight with Lord Poppertins. We'd like to thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye, Lord Poppertins.
Bye, we love you. Thanks for listening. Ow. Oh, man, that hurt. Don't do that. Can't sit on people's knees. Why don't you say it to them, not me? Would you like to stop the video? Haley, they can't see you when you do that. You're behind the camera. If you want them to see you, come this way. Okay, stop it. Oh my goodness. Goodbye for the night.